Hello and welcome to the United Community Channel. This is your latest Manchester United news. Plenty to talk about tonight. Is Manchester United, or are Manchester United playing it quite, I suppose, sneakily in terms of Harry Kane? We're going to talk about him, of course, anybody looking at the thumbnail. We're going to talk about Fred. We've just found out in the last maybe half an hour or so that here we go, Fred to Fenerbahce is on. We're going to talk about that as well. We're going to talk Harry Maguire. Plenty to get into. Please leave your thoughts in the comment section below and let's get right into it. But yeah, you're more than welcome, guys. Thanks for joining as usual. Please do smash a like on the video. Subscribe if you're new to the channel. We're on the road to 4,000 subscribers. So yeah, hit that subscribe button. But look, we're going to start with Fred. Of course, like I said, we've got plenty to talk about tonight. We've got Manchester United being, for the first time, I think, in a long time, quite clever in the transfer market. There's reports that Manchester United are planning 2, maybe 3 years in advance in terms of transfer strategies, maybe targeting players next summer that only have 1 year left on their deal. Victor Osimhen, these types of players. We'll talk about that. Who else are we going to talk about? Obviously, Fred is the main one that we're going to talk about. Harry Maguire as well, and so on and so forth. And maybe a potential replacement to Harry Maguire if he goes. But like I said, get your thoughts into the comment section below. Fred, okay, Fabrizio Romano has confirmed in the last maybe half an hour or so. Fred to Fenerbahce, here we go. Deal in place with Manchester United. Proposal received earlier has been accepted and verbal agreement reached. Fred has agreed terms with Fenerbahce and will travel for medical tests soon. Exclusive story confirmed. Now, it's looking like it's going to be 10 million euro with 5 million in potential add-ons. So, first and foremost, I think it reiterates the fact that Manchester United are crap at getting deals done. Pretty much. We are terrible at selling players. Now, look, I do understand that Fred had to leave. He was subject to, a lot of speculation that he was going to go. He didn't play in any part in pre-season. I think it was pretty clear that meant he was going to go. Even Fabrizio Romano was saying that when Galatasaray pulled out of a deal for him, that it was still 100% certain that Fred was going to leave Manchester United. So, look, I mean, I find it quite difficult in relation to Fred leaving for such little money when you had basically 4 clubs interested in him, So Galatasaray, of course, Fenerbahce now who are going to get him. Fulham were interested and a team in Saudi Arabia were interested in him. And for us to only be able to generate, what is it, £8 million plus 4 in add-ons for Fred? I mean, it's not good. It really isn't. So disappointing. Let's go down through it here. Manchester United midfielder Fred is set to join Fenerbahce on a permanent basis, according to Fabrizio Romano. Italian journalists confirmed Fred to Fenerbahce. Here we go. Yeah, we read all of that. And I think they confirm the amount down here. Let's see. Multiple clubs were reportedly keen on the Brazilian. Fulham were said to retain a strong interest in the midfielder, but had no desire to meet United's 20 million valuation. Well, I would feel now, I would think that Fulham are feeling quite hard done by now if United were quoting them 20 million and he went for £8 million to Fenerbahce. So, yeah, there was also interest from Saudi Arabia and Galatasaray, who even saw a bid rejected by the Red Devils. So, yeah, I mean, look, it's a strange one with Fred, I have to say. But look, I mean, I like Fred. I think I think the majority of Manchester United fans, will have fond memories of Fred, both good and bad, if that makes sense, because look, let's be quite honest here. I don't think he was ever good enough for Manchester United. And I think, that is, that has been evident over the years. And look, it's okay that that's the case. But I think the fact that, I mean, there was promise there, really, wasn't there? There was a lot of expectation when it came to Fred. Pep Guardiola wanted him at Manchester City around the same time. We came in, give him more money, paid more for him, whatever you call it, the Ed Woodward era, with another brilliant decision. But I mean, look, it hasn't worked out. It really hasn't. And again, I'm saying this an awful lot this summer. We're talking about sentimentality. We can't have any more sentimentality when it comes to players at Manchester United. If they're not good enough, let's move them on. Let's get money in. Well, let's try and get some good money in, not 8 million. But yeah, look, I mean, we've been talking now over the last couple of weeks about, and maybe I suppose since we were pretty sure that Højlund was going to get done, we've been talking about any more incomings that happen are more than likely going to be, I suppose, driven by sales of players than the revenue we create from that. I'm starting to get a little bit worried. Now, look, I'm not overly worried. Maybe worried is an overstatement, but maybe concerned that we're not probably going to get anybody else. Because if you look at it, if it's going to be reinvesting the money we make, we've made 8 million on Fred. We're getting 30 million for Harry Maguire, 6 of which we're going to, we'll get into it in a moment, but supposedly United are going to give him 6 million to leave, pay some of his wages off. That leaves you with 24 plus 8 is 32. We're going to loan Donny van de Beek with an option to buy. If stipulations are met, that will turn into an obligation. So by the looks of it, we're not going to be generating an awful lot of money by players out. So yeah, I mean, Amrabat has been the main one we've been talking about in the last couple of weeks. And I think that's probably the smartest option, to go out and get somebody like him for, just to bulk up that midfield. But if we're talking about probably using that money that we get, say, from Fred and from Harry Maguire, then you're probably going to use up the majority of that on Amrabat. Now, how do you raise funds then for a new centre-back? Because if Harry Maguire goes, we are going to need a new centre-back. Do you sell Scott McTominay on top of that as well? Reports are suggesting that, West Ham are still, thereabouts for him. But I think getting another centre-back in, if we are going to use the money from Fred and Harry Maguire on a midfielder first, I think getting then Scott McTominay off the books as quickly as possible is vitally important, because we would be short at centre-back. You would have Varane, Martinez, Lindelof. Johnny Evans is probably going, well, maybe he might, I don't know, it's speculation at this stage, but I would probably give him a 1-year deal just as backup. So I think we potentially are going to see some more outgoings before the season, or before the transfer window ends, before the season starts. Probably not, because it starts tomorrow. But yeah, and I think Scott McTominay is the main one. How is Brandon Williams still at the club? Is there any other real fringe players there? I mean, I think getting rid of Fred, Donny, Scott McTominay, Harry Maguire, David De Gea, I mean, it's been a big clear out this summer, you would have to say. It's been a big, big clear out. I've been impressed with the clear out in terms of players off the books. I haven't been overly impressed in the money we've got in for them. Look, we've got rid of Elanga. We've got rid of now Fred. It looks like Donny's going to go. It looks like Maguire is going to go. David De Gea is already gone. There are 5 players that, we really did need to get rid of. But we go back to what we're saying about Manchester United. We're not that good at negotiating, and we're not that good at recuperating money. We mentioned it, it must be about 3 or 4 weeks ago now, when it was announced that Manchester United had made something like 70 million in revenue from sales of players in the last 10 years. And was it Chelsea made something like 700 plus million? So it just goes to show how poor Man United are. And I think this Fred deal kind of solidifies that more than anything else. You know what I mean? But look, wish Fred the best. And I will always, say on a live that, I will always have the utmost respect for any player who plays for Manchester United. We're entitled to give our opinion on whether they're good enough or not, game in, game out. But at the end of the time, I'm sure Fred always gave his all for Manchester United. So you thank him for, his hard work and his dedication, but time to go. Upwards and onwards to bigger and better things, hopefully. Let's move it on, guys, and talk about the striker situation. But let's go through some of the comments here first, see what people are saying here. Chris says, Fred to Fenerbahce for 10 million plus 5 in add-ons. We suck at negotiating. Easy is in from South Africa. Good to see you, pal. Chris also says, we can target all we want, but we will still pay premiums for each player. Welcome to the Rated R UCC channel. Yeah, we won't be dropping back in a couple of C-bombs like Ricey done last night. John says, that's a terrible price. Ben says, crazy. Niall says, for a transfer window that started out very slow, it seems to be taking shape now. Yeah, well, it tends to. I mean, the transfer window tends to pick up pace as it goes, because at the start, clubs and players are feeling each other out. They're saying, does he want to go? Does he want to come to us? Would he be happy with these wages? So on and so forth. Preseason rolls around, then players are not getting games. They're told they're not in, the manager's plans. Then all of a sudden things speed up, Party Pooper says, we are terrible at doing business. Ben says, Fred was 100% effort. Absolutely. Chris says, Fred did ruin Kevin De Bruyne. Christopher says, hi, Man United fans from South Africa. Easy says, his heart was 100% with the club. That's what we need. Good character. Go well, Fred the Red. Absolutely. Yeah, some good words for Fred here. Parry Pooper says Glazer's out, and he also says we definitely need another centre-back. I'm concerned Varane will have a few injuries this season. Ben says, don't worry about Jack's top people. He is a red at heart. Yeah, I mean, it's starting to fade a little bit. Don't worry, but it's just that Adidas, Let's see. Aaron says, even and all, if we do use the money from Fred and Maguire for another central defensive midfielder, are we potentially punishing ourselves if Kane is available? Maybe so. Maybe so. Maybe Manchester United are going to just go straight for Harry Kane. I don't know. We're going to talk about Harry Kane in a minute. Dean Henderson should be sold. We're going to talk about Dean Henderson as well, Chris. Some interesting updates on Dean Henderson because Tom Heaton has got an injury. So that is an interesting one about Dean Henderson. So we'll talk about that as well. So we basically buy players that typically have no release value. Stumpy is in as well. Jock is there. And John says definitely need to build a squad and not a starting 11. There we go. Let's see what people on TikTok are saying here. We'll go back through some of the comments here. Would you go for Kane for 100 million, says Brian? I would if we could afford him. Absolutely, I would. Keane says, do you think Caicedo will go to Liverpool? I don't know. It's probably between Liverpool and Chelsea. Ricey says, heard Højlund injury might be worse than first feared. Well, basically, if he doesn't rest it, it could turn into a stress fracture. Basically, that's it. So he just needs to rest for the first few games and maybe not play 2 or 3 games a week for the first couple of weeks that he's back. Basically, that's what it's all about. Stress fractures are normal, says user. Rashford had one last year. Yeah, so Casper says our front line is poor, outscored by Everton last year. Where's the hoodie from, Jack? I bought it online. I can't remember where I got it. So yeah, anyway, let's move it on to the striking situation, guys, the striker area. And as we know, look, Manchester United will use funds from sales to buy another striker. Now, this has been reported by a number of different outlets today. So reports suggest Man United are keen to buttress their attack with another striker, having already added Rasmus Højlund to their ranks. Old Trafford officials are actually aware of the pressure such a move places on a 20-year-old forward, however, and are keen to unburden Højlund. A plan to ease the Dane into life at England exists using options within the United squad already, but the purchase of an experienced striker remains the preference for Erik ten Hag. Now, who are we talking about? We're talking about this guy, Harry Kane. Now, Bayern and Tottenham have reached an agreement in principle for Harry Kane, worth more than €100 million, David Ornstein has reported. It's now up to the player. Kane has to make a final decision very soon after long negotiations. Ricey, thanks for the gifts. Much appreciated. So, Harry Kane to Manchester United. Could it still happen? I think it could. Now, it might not happen in this transfer window, but I think it could still happen. Reports have surfaced later, I suppose, in the afternoon today, coming into the evening time, that Harry Kane is more likely to stay at Spurs this season than he is to actually accept a move and go to Bayern Munich. Basically, what this means is he is going to run down his contract. I can't see any other scenario where Harry Kane signs a new deal at Spurs. I just can't see it. I really can't. If he doesn't move to Bayern Munich this summer, he will go for a free next year. He will go on a free. He will. Okay. Well, not 100% go on a free. Okay. Now, I hate to say that I was right, but I was right. Okay. If he turns down a deal to go to Bayern Munich, I said at the start of the transfer window when we first moved away from Harry Kane that I still thought when when we get to the end of the transfer window, I thought Spurs are going to be desperate to get rid of him because they don't want to lose him on a free. And Man United will go, Daniel, you in there? We've got 80 million for you if you want it. Can we tempt you, Harry Kane? There you go. He doesn't want to go to Bayern. It's either 80 million now or you're going to lose him on a free next year. So I think now, look, I'm not going to say I'm certain that Harry Kane is going to come to Man United, but I think there's a chance. So you're telling me there's a chance? I think there's a chance that this deal could potentially get done, that Manchester United could potentially have pulled off the biggest coup in English football for a long, long time. And I think if it is the case that they do go out and put a bid in for Harry Kane, if he does, now I think he will have to reject the move to Bayern Munich first. But if United can go in then and put a bid in, I think it's a genius move out of Manchester United. Now there's a lot of ifs and buts that need to turn into certainties before that happens. First and foremost, Harry Kane needs to reject the move. Second of all, he probably has to come out and say, I'm not renewing a contract with Spurs. I don't want to move to Bayern Munich. I want to stay in England. I'll either go for a fee this summer or I will leave on a free next year. And then Man United will just go, I could just imagine Erik ten Hag just showing up to the front door of Spurs going, is Daniel in there? Any chance you take 75 million for Harry Kane? We'll give it to you. And then, he signs for Man United and we're challenging for the league, So, I mean, look, maybe I'm getting a little bit too carried away, but you could look at, potentially moving on Anthony Martial. We did hear at the start of the transfer window that Spurs were potentially interested in Martial as well. So I don't know. Look, I'm playing devil's advocate here, but I do think there is a scenario and there is a pathway for Manchester United to get Harry Kane either this summer or next summer. Now I don't give a shit, if it is this summer and we pay 80 million or if it's next summer on a free. I want him now. Give him to me now and let Rasmus Højlund learn off him over the next 2 or 3 years and, get 3 of his best years out of him. Let him break the Premier League goal scoring record at Manchester United while he's winning the Premier League for us, with Bruno Fernandes feeding him in balls, Marcus Rashford running off him down the left. Jadon Sancho just refines, the form he had at Dortmund. Casemiro holding the fort. Mason Mount peppering in balls. I'm telling you, it could be done. It could easily be done. And I think Harry Kane coming to Manchester United, we instantly challenge for that league title. I think we instantly challenge. Phil says, where did we suddenly get 80 million from? Now, Phil, I understand what you're saying, but, there is that FFP that we have to deal with. I just think Manchester United, if Harry Kane comes out and says, I'm not leaving England, I want to stay in England, I think Man United find 80 million. I really do. You would probably use Anthony Martial, as a paperweight, maybe in the negotiating. If Spurs did want him, you could hope maybe that would knock it down to 60, maybe 55. You would structure the deal where we give you 35 up front now, which is the money you would make off of selling Fred and Harry Maguire, for example. So, I mean, there is ways around it. There really, really is ways around it. But, like I said, there's a lot of ifs and buts. I I've said it for years. I've always thought Harry Kane, for some reason or another, would just end up wearing a Man United jersey at some stage. Now, he might never, but I don't know. I don't know. Let's see what happens. Jube says Martial plus 75 mil. Yeah, probably. Yeah, and a box load of plasters for him. But yeah, so look, I mean, this is all in relation to Manchester United being quite smart in the transfer window, I think. I think if we could pull off something like this, I think it would be an absolute steal. I think it would be very tactical out of Manchester United. And there are reports coming out today suggesting that Manchester United are being quite strategic in the transfer market as well. So Manchester United plotting for next summer with a clever transfer strategy. So basically what this means is Manchester United's board and Erik ten Hag are looking to target players in the last year of their contract, like they done with Mason Mount this summer, for example, because it means that you can stay within the financial fair play. Because, you know, if you're buying a player, Rasmus Højlund is a prime example. If he had 1 year left on his deal, we would have got him for 30 or 40 million. But the fact that he's got 3 or 4 years left to run on his deal, you pay a premium on that. So, yeah, let's go down through this. Manchester United are already drawing up plans for next summer's transfer window, according to Samuel Luckhurst. Writing for the Manchester Evening News, the journalist claims the Red Devils are keeping tabs on players who will be entering the final 12 months of their contract next year. This fits a recent pattern from the club who signed Mason Mount from Chelsea this summer. His contract was set to expire next summer, making a deal that would have previously been seen as impossible likely. Amrabat is the same. A similar approach is set to be taken next summer. And while Luckhurst gets a little carried away throwing out names, he mentions Mo Salah and Trent Alexander-Arnold, for example. There are some interesting potential targets. Yeah, well, obviously United won't be going for them. Jeremy Frimpong and Victor Osimhen, both of whom have been heavily linked with United for a number of months, will see their current deals expire in 2025. So there we go. I mean, they're two players that have been linked with Manchester United in the past that would only have 1 year left on their deal next summer. So I think it's good strategic planning out of Manchester United, and it's exactly what we should be doing. You know, Liverpool, as much as I hate them, credit where credit is due. There's been times, you know, over the last maybe 6 or 7 years since Klopp has been there, where they might not have got a target in a summer, and they'll go, no, we're happy to wait until next year and get him then, you know, when he has 1 year left on his deal. And I think now that we've got a manager that can improve players that are currently at the club, I think the worry and the stress to hurry to get players in the door is probably not as strong as it used to be when we had somebody like Solskjaer, where it's buy as many players as you can, because he's really wasn't ever going to improve anybody, you know. So I think the fact that Ten Hag is you know, improving players that are already there, I think it's allowing us to be a little bit more strategic in the transfer market. Say, all right, if we don't get him this year, we get him next year. We go back in next year. Osimhen is not going anywhere because, you know, Napoli have priced the whole world out of buying him. He's so expensive. Harry Kane could be on a free next year. You know, does this mean if we're targeting players with 1 year left on their deal that we are going to go in for Harry Kane before the end of the transfer window? Who knows? We know Jeremy Frimpong is a right back that Manchester United were looking at the start of the transfer window. But I think with the emergence of Wan-Bissaka and Delors as being, you know, quite solid fullbacks last season, that kind of, you know, was pushed onto the back burner a little bit. But it's good to see United for once being strategic. You know, let's go through some of the comments here. Amy says, good afternoon. Man U could seek in a late bid. Rashford and Kane would be awesome. Billy says, will Kane stay or go? I don't know. I think he's going to say he wants to stay in England. I think that's what we need to hear from him, you know, more than anything else. Oh, what are you doing in here? Are you going to bed? Come in and say goodnight.
Yeah. Say goodnight to Daddy.
All right, okay. There's Daddy on the TV up there as well. Yeah, look. Say goodnight, everybody.
Goodbye.
Everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Say, come on, United.
Come on in the night.
Good girl. Wave. Bye. Good girl. Right, see you in the morning.
You're fixing your hair, are
Fixing
you?
your hair. Good girl. Mwah.
You're
Have a good sleep.
Here's your ducky. And
But yeah. So bye, Chloe. I love you. Kiss. Kiss and a hug. Sorry. Kiss and a hug. Kiss and a hug. Mwah. And a big hug. Big tight squeeze. Oh, good girl. Right, go on. I'll see you in the morning, okay? Daddy's on the telly. Daddy's on the telly.
There he is. Yeah, I see him.
Right, so
Come
bye, Chloe. I love you. Right, Messi, you go too.
on, Messi.
Right, everybody out.
Come on, Messi.
The United Family Channel. Anyway, I think Harry Kane needs to come out and say he wants to stay in England. Not that he wants to stay at Spurs, because I think him staying at Spurs, if he says that, it means it's a new deal potentially, you know. And I think he wants. I think he wants that Alan Shearer record. He wants the goal scoring record for the Premier League. I'm convinced by it, and I think he'll get it. And I go back to what I've said previously. I think it would be Manchester United that he would go to. There's been talks potentially that he could go to Chelsea on a free. I don't see him doing that. You know, Man City are set up with a striker. Liverpool are as well. He's not going to Arsenal. Newcastle, I don't think he would go there either. Yeah, so look, I don't know. I think it's huge. I really do. I think it's absolutely huge. Now, supposedly as well, I did have another article here. Let me just see, can I find it real quick in relation to the Harry Kane situation. Let me just have a quick look. Where is it? Because it's a very interesting one. Let me just go down past all of the Fred stuff, because we've done all of that. Where is it? Because it's very interesting. Victor Osimhen is going to stay at Napoli as well, by the way, which, again, would mean he'd be in the final year of his contract next year. I suppose they're going to be working very, very hard to get him to extend that deal over the next 12 months or so. Yeah, here it is. Okay, there we go. Perfect. Let me just bring this up on the screen here. A club made Harry Kane a significantly better offer for a free transfer in 2024. PSG are looking for a replacement for Mbappe. Manchester United and Chelsea cannot be ruled out either. So this is the article that I was talking about. Who is it actually? It's from Bild Sports in Germany as well. So basically what it means is, obviously, Harry Kane is very, is hugely sought after. And there are going to be teams coming in saying, just stay where you are for one more season. You'll be 31. You'll still be banging in goals. We will give you a bucket of cash next season if you sign for us on a free. We will absolutely give you the world, because we'll give you a signing on bonus or whatever it is, because we won't have to pay a transfer fee for you, and we'll be getting one of the best strikers in the world. So I think this story is far from over. I really do. I think Harry Kane could very easily find himself in a Manchester United jersey in the next 12 months, or even in the next 4 weeks, 3 weeks. You never know. You would never know. I think it could very, very easily be done. I think the fact that he is pondering whether he wants to go to Bayern, because if he goes to Bayern Munich, the Premier League record is gone. For what? A couple of smelly Bundesliga titles that Bayern have won, 11 in a row now. It means nothing. And you'll probably end up getting to maybe a quarter-final or a semi-final of a Champions League. You will go there. You might as well stay in England. I think there's more prestige in being the best goal scorer in Premier League history than there is at having a couple of Bundesliga titles, in my opinion. So I think there's a pathway for Harry Kane to still end up at Manchester United. Now, it's slim, but I think it's there. Right, okay. Let's move on. We spoke about Fred, so we can skip over all of that. I want to talk about Kovar real quick. So Manchester United and Bayern Leverkusen have reached an agreement for Kovar, who is our goalkeeper, our backup goalkeeper. I think it's about 9 million, which of course, look, we do have to bring that into our conversation that we were talking earlier on about, reinvesting funds back into the squad. So look, I'm a bit surprised because I thought in the couple of games that he played in pre-season, he was quite good. He looked very comfortable on the ball. But yeah, it does look like he's going to go as well. Let's see what people are saying in the chat here. Luke says, we won't fork out for Pavard until Maguire is sold. We will we really be able to do 100 plus? Is there financial fair play worries or something? Well, we do have the transfer window in January that we could potentially offload players as well. So I'm sure there is scenarios there. Sounds like a dream, Jack, says Party Pooper. Casado would be nice too. Yeah, we won't be getting him. Luke says, don't sell me this dream. Chris says, stop with the Jadon Sancho hope. Hashtag sell Sancho. Well, it looks like he's going to get one more season, Jadon Sancho. So, I mean, I'm still not writing him off because I thought he had a very good preseason. So, look, let's see what happens. And for anybody who watched the match day vlog that I put up of the game in Dublin on Sunday today, the one thing I said on it after the Harry Maguire boos was that anybody that puts on the Manchester United jersey will have my support. I will criticize them if they play bad, but I will always support them when they go out onto the field. And every Manchester United fan should be the same. Would you end the talks for Amrabat if it means the deal for Kane will be made? Absolutely. Harry Kane instantly makes us challenge for the league. Amrabat doesn't. So, you know what I mean? I think there's the answer, really. Luke says, Sancho and Kane sounds better than Son and Kane. Billy says, imagine Kane signs for Arsenal. That would never happen. Any news on the club takeover, says Christopher. Will the Glazers be out after the transfer window? And is it Jazim still in? No updates. No updates, I'm afraid. Amy says, sometimes you need to wait for the January transfer window. Easy says, why don't we just keep Greenwood as backup striker for the season? Chris says, we targeted Mount and still had to pay a premium for him. Well, Chelsea wanted 80 million. We got him for 60. So, John says, we would really need Champions League football next year to get Kane, or he wouldn't look at us. Yeah, well, I think it is going to be, I think depending on how the teams get on this year, it is going to be top 5 by the looks of it next year that'll get Champions League football. But yeah. Dave says, if we put the same offer in as Bayern, they won't take it unless Kane comes out and refuses to go abroad. Can't see why he'd want to go to Bayern. Michael Owen tweeted earlier, and for once he is spot on. Yeah, and that's what I was saying as well, Dave, that I think if Harry Kane comes out and says he wants to stay in England, then I think it opens the door for Manchester United. But if Manchester United just go in and offer the same as Bayern without Harry Kane rejecting a move to Bayern, then I think Spurs can just slap that door closed. But until the door to Bayern is closed, you know, the saying, God never closes a door without opening a window. I think when the Bayern Munich door closes on Harry Kane, I think it's going to create such a big draft in the house that it's going to blow all the windows open. And Manchester United are just going to be at the front window going, hello, sir, can we have some? So there we go. You want some? I'll give you, yeah. Muidin says, Man United spend so much money on Mount. Aaron says, my colleague is a Spurs fan. A Spurs forum he's on says Kane's wife is heavily pregnant and is adamant she does not want to relocate abroad at the moment. Well, going from London to Manchester is like going abroad as well. Dave also says, we should have tried a cash plus Maguire deal for Kane earlier in the window. Reckon Maguire would have been perfect for Tottenham, but they don't need a centre-back since they signed a Dutch fella from Wolfsburg. Well, I think at the start of the transfer window, there was no pressure on Daniel Levy to negotiate with an English team because he knew there was going to be options abroad for Harry Kane. But I think if the Bayern Munich door closes, he's going to be stuck and he's going to have to negotiate with somebody in England. Amy says, let's see if Kane plays on Sunday. And Easy says, Harry Kane, the biggest transfer steal, just wait for it. I hope so. I'd love to see it. I would love to see it. Right, what else have we got to talk about, guys? Let's talk about Harry Maguire. And of course, we know that Manchester United have accepted a bid from West Ham in relation to Maguire, 30 million. Now, some interesting reports coming out today. This one, obviously, is from the Sun. We know the Sun can be full of shit a lot of the time, so take it with a pinch of salt. We don't make the news. We discuss it. I got an awful lot of stick today in the comments about the Rasmus Højlund injury story, so we're talking about the news that's been reported by other people. So anyway, Harry Maguire has been given a £6 million payoff to leave Manchester United. He will take a wage cut to join West Ham, so United have made the payment to help offset that. Now, is there truth in this? Who knows? But Harry Maguire needs to leave, and Manchester United needs to get him gone. I think there's too much negativity around him now. I think for his own sake and for the sake of the club, I think it's a good deal for everybody. Do I agree with Manchester United paying $6 million to get rid of a player? Absolutely not. I do not. I don't think that should be the case. I think a player should have enough hunger and enough desire, to want and go and play for another club, especially if he's going to want to be in the England team next year for the European Championships, and I think this kind of payoff, it does leave a sour taste in my mouth, I have to say. Other reports then today are suggesting that West Ham are waiting for Maguire to finalise his terms of his departure from Man United before giving him a medical. All other aspects of the transfer are complete, including personal terms. And that's coming from Sky Sports News. Harry Maguire's salary is set to drop from 190 grand a week to around 100 grand a week at West Ham. United are expected to pay a sum to cover the difference, but the amount is to be negotiated. So all kind of saying the same things. Manchester United are going to offset Harry Maguire's drop in wages going to West Ham by giving him, a lump sum payment going out the door. I don't like it. I really don't. I think it's bullshit. I think it's while okay, it gets the player out the door, it's 6 million coming out of the kitty that we could potentially invest in, Amrabat, or, another centre back, if it's Pavard, or if we do end up going for Harry Kane at the end of the transfer window, whatever it may be. You're taking 6 million out of the pot and you're going, here, Harry, you have that. We'll be all right. That doesn't sit well with me at all. It really doesn't. But yeah, let's go through some of the comments here. Please do smash a like on the video as well, guys, if you haven't already done so. If you're new to the channel, like I said, please do hit the subscribe button. We're on the road to 4,000 subscribers, as you can see in the top of the screen. If it's there, I don't think it is. But yeah, please do hit the subscribe button and the like button as well. Let's see. Mr. Opinion says they say Taribo or Pavard to replace Maguire. Yeah, maybe so. Maybe so. I think, especially with the likes of Pavard, I think that sounds like an Eric Ten Hag signing to me, because Pavard can play both right back and centre back. I bought him in Football Manager last season and he done brilliant for me. And then he got pissed off that he didn't want to play centre back. He wanted to play right back. And I was like, what are you on about? So then I sold him to Galatasaray, even though I didn't want to go there. So, yeah. But this is real life. You know what I mean? But, yeah, look, I think either one of them, we will need another centre-back if Harry Maguire is to go. Even if Johnny Evans is given another, if he's given a 1-year deal as a backup, we are going to need another one there. You ideally want 4 centre backs and Johnny Evans, and at the moment, well, if Maguire goes, we'll have 3 and Johnny Evans. I suppose you could count Luke Shaw in that as well, but I mean, I think Luke Shaw obviously is more effective at left back, so you want him to be there as much as possible, especially when the likes of Malacia is going to go into the season with an injury as well. So I think you need all hands on deck. You know what I mean? So anyway, let's move it on and talk about the goalkeeping situation at Manchester United. And Tom Heaton will be out for a few weeks, according to Samuel Luckhurst, with an injury. And it does mean that Dean Henderson could potentially stay at Manchester United after Tom Heaton sustained a calf injury. So, again, this is just real fucking fantastic news, isn't it? I would I'm pretty certain that Dean Henderson is not happy about this either, because he wants out of Manchester United as much as Manchester United want him gone. I think he's a negative force in the dressing room. I think his attitude is terrible. I think that what he said about Manchester United in that interview last year was nothing short of disgraceful. And yeah, I think he needs to go. So does that mean Manchester United dip back into the transfer market again, before the end of the window for another goalkeeper? That remains to be seen. I mean, if Tom Heaton's going to be out for a couple of weeks, I mean, were you ever going to get through the transfer or the entire season without a goalkeeping injury? If it was just going to be Onana and Tom Heaton, who was going to be our third goalkeeper anyway? So I don't know if Manchester United, maybe they will go back into the transfer market. We've got some breaking news while we're live as well, guys. Let me bring it up on the screen here for you. Rasmus Højlund has been chosen to wear number 17 jersey in the upcoming season. It's coming from Fabrizio Romano. The decision has been made that Rasmus Højlund will be Man United's new number 17. So that comes on the back of Fred was number 17, wasn't he? Am I right in saying that? Correct me if I'm wrong. I think Fred was number 17. Yeah? Yeah, I think so. So basically, Fred out the door. Højlund takes his number. So happy days, number 17. Nani wore it as well previously. So yeah, look, Rasmus Højlund wears the number 17. In a few years, will he drop the 1 and take the number 7 jersey maybe after Mason Mount goes, or, who knows? Who knows? But yeah, Rasmus Højlund will wear the number 17 jersey next year, which is good. Happy days. Let's go through some of the comments here, see what people are saying. Let's see. Jason says, we have a decent striker in Greenwood. We need to just suck it up and use him. It's a bit more complicated than that, Jason, but I take your point. Shane is in, says, evening, man. Best news of the window. Amy says, West Ham want McTominay too, but there's too many words together there. Sorry. Shane says, I think it's fair. It's fair bad decision in the past made by the same people in charge that they should be the focus here and call them out. We still need to get rid of these lads as well. Amy says Manu and Anthony need to go. I couldn't agree less with you, Amy. I think Manu is a potential future star. I don't know why you would want him to go. Easy says, I think Pavard could be a good addition at right back. Chris says, sell Henderson and keep Bishop. Christopher says, I know this is off topic, but it's interesting to see that YouTubers, Dude Perfect, co-owners of Burnley. Yeah, I seen that the other day. I don't know why. I think it's a weird one. Amy says, I guess me, Harrison, Kovar, Vitek, and Mooster need to go on loan. Dave says, goodbye, Fredinho. Yeah, sad news about Fred. Yeah. Chris says, the 6'6" goalie from Turkey is for sale for 5 mil. I'm not even going to try and pronounce that name in case it's a bad name and you're trying to catch me out. So, yeah. But if it's a real name, then people should know him. But I don't know him. Why wouldn't they give him the number 11? Clearly, they're bringing Greenwood back. Maybe so. I don't know. That's something that we'll find out in the next few days, I presume. He's going to be a beast, says Shane. Luke says, really thought he would get number 9. And Chris says, why would we sell Manu and Anthony? There we go. Let's see. John says, I saw you at the Man United match. Yeah, big up to anybody that I met on Sunday up in Dublin, guys. Really enjoyed meeting everybody. Few people came up, said hello. One person asked me for a picture, which was great. Weird, but great. So, yeah, happy days. No autographs yet, though. Let's try to keep it that way as well, all right? My handwriting is not the best. But, yeah, look, I appreciate it. Go check out the match day vlog as well, guys. I uploaded it today in the afternoon. It's my first real match day vlog. So I'm doing a lot of study on how to make them better, looking at a lot of YouTube videos on how to improve them, because I am going to be going to a good few games in Old Trafford this season. And I'm going to be doing match day vlogs for all of them. So I'm going to try and keep improving them, keep improving my editing techniques and all that kind of stuff. So go check it out. Smash a like on the video and leave a comment below because it helps the algorithm. But make sure you just hit the subscribe button as well. Guys, I appreciate everybody watching. Thanks for joining. We will be back again tomorrow night. Of course, tomorrow is Friday, so it's our last one of the week. But we've got the Premiership back tomorrow as well. And Man United are going to be back from Monday. We will have our match preview on Saturday afternoon. Our preview is going to be going live. Our previews this year will be up 2 days in advance of each match game. So if we're playing on a Wednesday night in the Champions League, you'll have your preview on the Monday, and it'll be an afternoon time that they will be going up. They won't be live. They'll be pre-recorded. So make sure you do check them out. Give them a like and comment. I'll be doing score predictions, predicted starting 11s, looking at the opposition, all of that kind of stuff. So that'll be up on Saturday. And then on Monday night, then, of course, we've got the first game of the season for Man United at home to Wolves. And then we do have, straight away after that, our match reaction, which official channel members can come on. Anybody who wants to come on will have the option to come on if they want. And we will, be bringing you on the screen. So you can, like this. So what I will have is I'll have it like a little split screen like this, for example, with people around here, and I can bring you on and, you can give your opinion, so on and so forth. If you want to become an official member of the channel, the link is in the description. You do have to be over the age of 18 to come on with us, of course. But if you do want to become an official member and get involved in the match reaction videos live after each game, do go and check the options out below. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. I'll see you tomorrow. Take it easy.